Welcome back. This is a special day that we're dedicating to eulogize the life and legacy of Chief himself. I'm talking about Christian Chukwu, what he is able to achieve and what we could gain from his life and what we could share with others who are coming right after him. We have with us live in the studio this morning Chief Andrew Nnebedum. He was the former head of sports and outside broadcast, was assistant director of programs on FRSC and retired as the general manager, Cool City FM Radio, Nigeria. Today, he is currently the head of sports, Go Uni Radio, here in Enugu State. He was practically in that space where Christian Chukwu was, at the time where they played. Good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Who was he to you?
Well, Christian Chukwu, when you say who Christian Chukwu was to me, it's just like saying who a lot of good players and, of course, coaches were to me. Christian Chukwu was the person who made us proud and made a lot of us come into football. He's a little older than me. He's 2 years older than me in age. Wow. And I started knowing him while I was in the secondary school. I was schooling at St. Patrick's Emene here in Enugu. And each time Christian Chukwu has a match to play at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium, we're all still away from the school, climb the trees around because we were not able to pay the gate fees and watch the football from there, you understand, as small boys. And of course, that was where my interest in football started. You cannot mention Christian Chukwu without mentioning some of the key players who helped him to be who he is, because he came in as their captain. He was the captain of Rangers of old. I will not go too far during the time of Jerry Enyazu and how Rangers started. Let me just talk about Christian Chukwu. You cannot talk about Christian Chukwu without talking about Emmanuel Okala. Okala and Christian Chukwu like just 2 in 1, because whenever they are going for a match and Okala and Chukwu are going for the match, what you as a Ranger supporter will do is just to go back and sleep. What we know is that Rangers will win. The score is what you'll be guessing. They are 2 in 1. You talk of Nnebedum Zewanko, the longest thrower I have ever seen. Nnebedum Zewanko will stay at the throw and score a goal. Was lanky, tall, and very strong, energetic, all of them. And you talk about Aloysius Atuegbu. Those are the people who play around him, and he'll be there as a dean of defense. You can never pass that rock of Gibraltar called Christian Chukwu. Apart from that, he will distributing the ball this way, and he will just do like this. When he does like this, the ball is falling on your feet. Blockbuster, Aloysius Atuegbu. And when he will just give a sign, a hissing sound, he will send the ball, on his feet. And what is done is wave like this, the opponent will go and Aloysius Atuegbu will fire. You can't catch his shot. That's why we call it blockbuster. That means if you place a ball, a block, before the ball busted, the block. That's a terrific shot. Late Aloysius Atuegbu, may he so rest in peace.
Amen.
And the man we call the Englishman was also his good friend, Stanley Okoronkwọ, the Englishman. The man who done Rangers play, shirt. They were always on white, dazzling white. And for the 90 minutes plus, Stanley Okoronkwọ's shirt will not be dirtied. He's already late. May his soul rest in peace. I'm mentioning these people so that you know the soldiers around the Christian Chukwu. When we talk about Christian Chukwu and his captainship of Enugu Rangers. And these Enugu Rangers, took him to many places in Nigeria. I remember there was a Challenge Cup that came up, and the owner of Arusaram Rocks, Rangers had a Challenge Cup final with them, and the man brought out Peugeot 50 cars, 11 for the 11 players of Arusaram Rocks. So beat Rangers and take the car, and he was flogging the key. Rangers traveled from Enugu, and the match started. Emmanuel whispered to Emmanuel Akala whispered to Christian Chukwu. When they discuss, something is going to happen.
Right.
Within the first 20 minutes, Christian Chukwu, when he gives you a pass, we call it deadly pass. Deadly. Kill. That is kill with it, is what he tell you. And let me tell you that team lost 3-0. And the keys dangling were quickly pocketed. And the Rangers were begging them, we have won the game, now give us the keys to the cars. The man refused.
He refused?
He refused now. The cars were meant for his team, but they could not fly because flying antelopes were there. Rangers International. Say never die. That is our slogan. Say never die. So, when you talk of Christian Chukwu, his prowess started in 1980 when he captained the Green Eagles, not the Super Eagles then, of Nigeria, to the first AFCON. It wasn't called AFCON, it was African Cup of Nations then. And the team called Algeria came visiting in Lagos. And the Super Eagles,
Green Eagles.
Under the captainship of Christian Chukwu, played beautiful well. And you cannot talk about Christian Chukwu without talking about Odebami, mathematical Odebami. And there was somebody who can never be forgotten when you talk of Christian Chukwu and his prowess. That is the then broadcaster, Ernest Okonkwo, football commentator for Radio Nigeria. He gave all of them names. He was the person that gave Christian Chukwu chairman, Dean of Defense. And another name he gave Christian Chukwu was CCC, chairman Christian Chukwu. He will say, CCC collects the ball now and looks up front, finds Nwebezewanko on the outside position. Nwebezewanko just traps the ball now. Looks up front again, finds Aloysius Atebu, tips the ball to him. Aloysius Atebu, what does he do? He finds Dominic Nnebedum. Alaji, they call him. Alaji, what does he do? He turns around again and finds two opponents. Can he beat them? He beats one, beats the second. He tries a shot across the bar. And that was when, personally, I decided to go into football. And I said I must be a commentator.
Oh, really?
Do you understand? And I started understudying Ernest Okonkwo. He told us everything about Christian Chukwu, that Nigeria has good sons. He said whenever Christian Chukwu is wounded and will not play a game, that he finds it difficult to go for a commentary of that game. Because the person that will give him that thing that will make him make good commentary will not be there. But whenever he's there, he gives words. Ernest Okonkwo created names for all the players.
Absolutely.
Christian Chukwu, chairman.
Absolutely. I mean, I was going to say, where did that name come from? The chairman that they
chairman.
It
was Ernest Okonkwo that gave him the name and gave him CCC. And when you think of CCC, is a chairman, Christian Chukwu, Ernest Okonkwo. He coins names. And he look at Odebami. Odebami will take a shot and calculate it, very close to the goalpost, the far end. He said it was mathematical. Mathematical Odegbami. You know? So, and you remember, in Leningrad, when the Green Eagles of Nigeria was playing against Spain, Emmanuel Osigwe, one young player of the Green Eagles of Nigeria, stayed outside 18 and released a thunderous shot, which the commentator, described as an intercontinental missile, intercontinental ballistic missile. That was before this discovery of Scud missile, because Scud was bigger than ballistic. So that time, nobody, and if you try to put your hand, it will push you into the net. Osigwe stayed outside 18 and released a thunder of a shot that went into the net. It's my, oh my. Look at Emmanuel Osigwe, one of the youngest lads in the stadium now, released a thunderous shot that went into the net of the opponents of Green Eagles of Nigeria, like an intercontinental ballistic missile. That was Ernest Okonkwo. So, when I grew up, after my school days, I decided to go into broadcasting. What I was targeting was how to become a football commentator. And Ernest Okonkwo had to take me in one class, several classes, because we used to go on courses. We used to go on courses from Enugu to Lagos. He talked about these players, told us what we should be telling them. And I asked him, how do you coin all these names for the players? He said it was what they were doing in the field that gives them those names.
Interesting.
Said, yes.
He must be very, very talented.
Yes. He said, how can you imagine that Stanley Okoronkwo will go into the pitch with a white jersey up and down, white short, white shirt, and you come out after the 90 minutes, the jersey will not be dirtied. That's why he gave him Englishman, Stanley Okoronkwo.
All right, but before we continue, let's introduce Daiwo Chukwu.
Okay.
He is a veteran Nollywood actor. He's been around for a while. Daiwo, many thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you so much. Bless you.
How did you, receive the news of the death of Christian Chukwu? And what exactly can today's football world, or the footballing world, especially as it concerns Nigeria, learn from his dedication and passion for the game?
The death of Christian Chukwu is something no one can say. As a matter of fact, we've been friends from childhood, almost 8 mates, and I think he should give me like 2 to 3, or even 5 years age, and then he was a great footballer. He was so good in football that many people regretted his death. That since death is a very big surprise to the football world. Well, what can we say? The only thing we can say is, may his soul rest in perfect peace.
Amen. What legacy specifically do you think that he has left behind that the young generation, especially as it concerns the footballers, can learn from him?
Christian was a wonderful footballer. In fact, it's where I stay. Christian's death shook the footballing world. And I don't know. I don't know. It's so rest.
Amen. Amen, indeed. Well, on a final note, it does look like that his death is still a pain in your heart. You haven't really come to terms with the fact that he is gone. But again, what he has left behind is his service to humanity and how his life can influence millions of others in order to stay true to the cause of development and, of course, growth in terms of sports. Apart from his playing days, we also know that he also coached, at some point in his life where he also became pretty much successful. What specifically his, tenets in terms of what he's able to give to the players as a coach that you think that today's coach can, or coaches for football teams can learn from?
I remember Rich Sam Omparak was a nice guy, wonderful friend. When we were speaking one time, he told me that Christian made people on, and that he followed Christian to some countries and clubs, and he was a very great footballer. Well, what can someone say other than ask the Almighty God to give them perfect peace? Amen.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Daiwe Chukwu, for your time. We truly appreciate your calling this morning.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you again. Daiwo, the lovely veteran Nollywood actor, unable to even, hold back his tears.
He was also a commentator.
Mm-hmm.
He was running football commentaries with me. We discovered Daiwo Tikbeju from Oshodi. He worked with Nitel in Oshodi. If you've been to Lagos, you'll see that Nitel office it was very close to Oshodi Market. And while in FRC, and you'll see very close, because we have our training school also near Oshodi in Lagos, called it Adekule Fajiwe in Lagos. And that way it was coming across to Ikoyi to join some of us, and of course starting from Richard Asiebu, to Lufato Imbo, Emeka Odipo, and of course these are the people who came after Emeka, after the late Ernest Okonkwo, and we joined them. So I always look for him when I'm going on commentary in Radio Nigeria, because as a commentator I travel to so many countries of the world. I was at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. I was one of Nigeria's commentators, and then Christian Chukwu was around. He came. We got a lot of Nigerian players. Carl Nwanko was there. JJ Okocha was there. They visited us in our camp, in our hotel, and we all trooped to late South African president, the late South African president's house, Mandela. He invited all of us, Nigerian contingent. We were there. Great Christian Chukwu was there, and when we were there, he said we loved Nigeria. I remember that in 1990 he was here at Opera Square with his wife, Nelson Mandela, and the wife, and it was this a musician that played on that day. That was Major Fashek. Majek played a beautiful music and ran to take a picture with Nelson Mandela and the wife. And when we came, we went with the picture and told him. He was very, very happy, remembering that day. And of course, Nigerian players and officials were happy at his home at the new capital of South Africa. So, what I'm saying in earnest is that Christian Chukwu was an enigma when you talk about football in the world and in Africa. Remember that at a stage, he left to be the coach of Kenya. You know, he was the coach of Kenya for about a year or so, or 2 years, before he came back and went back to Rangers International. He did well,
right?
And lots of people were looking forward to being Christian Chukwu. You know, gentleman. He never quarreled with anybody. So.
Right. I mean, just from what our last guest spoke about, how he was taken care of by the Anambra State government under Peter Obi and was paid 15,000 naira. I'm wondering, do you think that government, at least for some of these people who are still alive, there's something that we could learn from them in order to at least keep them above board for what it is that they're able to give to the nation, for their sacrifices and for their interest in sports at the time? That the government should take it upon themselves, you know, to not just cry when these people pass, but of course do something while they are still alive.
I think Christian Chukwu gained almost everything he should gain as a footballer. Remember that in 1980, when they won that AFCON, first AFCON, in 1980, they were given houses at First Stack in Lagos. Cars, you know, houses, and cash awards. Up till today, he has his house in Lagos at the First Stack. And there's some other gifts that came from so many other, you know, good people. You also remember that when he fell sick, in the first instance, not this one that, you know, he died, a lot of people said no. Christian Chukwu will not die. People like Otedola, a lot of governors, including the governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, and the rest of them, they donated money and saved his life. God had another 4 to 5 years to his life. Then, last Saturday, he gave up. Right. So we cannot say outrightly that the government is not doing anything. They are doing something, you know, because there was a football team that traveled. It was under 17, and the then governor, it was during the military era, came back. The people said they said they should come to the government house in Lagos then to have a handshake, and with the press we wrote strongly. Said his handshake is not enough. It was a presidential handshake. What does it translate to? We wrote and talked on radios and televisions until the then president, you know, changed his mind and gave them something. So they are doing something, but you know, government is not easy for them to act. Right. But we, as the watchdog, I mean the press, we always cajole them, you know, talk to them, plead with them before they do something. But it's no longer like the olden days. If you play well these days and you won a trophy, you come back, even the present government of Nigeria, they'll do something for you.
Right.
You know? And Christian Chukwu got all he should get, and we are happy for it.
Well, this is where we'll leave it because of time. I want to say a very big thank you, Chief Andrew Nnebedum. Thank you so much for your insight on the program this morning.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.